tomorrow. But we're moving on. We are looking at C9 versus SMG right now. Now, here's an interesting thing. Little tidbit. I don't think I've ever seen SMG go to Blackheart's Bay. At least pick Blackheart's Bay. They almost always ban it out in the map striking.
Are you giving us spoils right now?
I am giving the spoils.
We're going to Blackheart's Bay!
We are going to Blackheart's Bay. Not only are we going to Blackheart's Bay, but SMG picked Blackheart's Bay.
I don't even know how to cast this map.
I know. I mean, like, we never see this map. It's just not played in competitive. It's so very rare. I think maybe over the past 3 or 4 tournaments, I've seen it once.
According to Reddit, this map is pay to win.
That's right. You pay the gold?
Yeah.
No. No, I can't even do it.
Let's
I can't
go to
even
the
do it.
and, Dragonshire will not be the map. It will, in fact, be Blackheart.
Do you know how to type? Oh, nope.
Bay.
Nope. That's not even. Not even. Nope. Still. We know that Jake is not particularly good with the spelling, especially when it comes to team names and map names. But that was particularly bad. Jake's in the process of dying of laughter, and I will fill you guys in. I will be your guide for this draft process here. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have here. It looks as though Cloud9 Maelstrom is getting first pick. They have decided to start out with a ban on Nazebo, and SMG is following up with a ban on Zeratul. So Jake, if you'd like to fill that in for us when you get a second.
Look at this video game that we're going to be playing here. Okay, well, like you said, the bans were Zeratul for SMG.
Yes, and Nazebo
Once again,
for...
that's like 3 games in a row now.
Yeah,
and Nazebo...
Zeratul has been a surprisingly popular ban target this game.
Out of SMG, specifically. Very cool, very cool. Well, we can see that the picks are going to go... First pick is going to be Tychus out of Cloud9. And then Volafalstead is the follow-up that we see out of Symbiote. So we see Volafalstead and Tychus. But then the rotation goes Brightwing Arthas for Cloud9, Stitches Chen for Symbiote, Abathur, Tassadar, or Tassadra, they typed there. Tassadar
just the
for Cloud9,
version.
and then Malfurion, Mad Furion on Mr. Mad Timmy himself.
So we have a little bit to talk about here.
Yeah, we got a lot of it to talk about here.
Wow, okay, Abathur, first of all. I think it's the first time we've seen Abathur this tournament.
You know, yeah, I think the chat's going to be happy seeing that Zuna Abathur, the Pajamather skin.
Yes. Yes, but I think that said, we can get into the game. We will talk about those picks in the early part of this game here. So I think if everyone is ready, we will get going.
All right, well, the players are ready.
Yeah,
the casters
just waiting for the confirmation from SMG, and we are just about ready to go here. SMG's probably like, "Oh, we gotta figure out what we're doing on Blackheart's Bay here." They do not play on this map very often. We are good to go. We are starting this game up. Game number 1 on the Kings of the Storm 4 Grand Finals. We are going to Blackheart's Bay. Yes, you heard it here, Blackheart's Bay.
Booty Bay indeed will be the map here, Mr. Blackheart himself. You got to turn the coins in. If you've never seen this map in a competitive match, if you've never played Heroes of the Storm, there are mercenary camps that drop coins. Every normal camp of mercenaries that exists, the Giants and Knights, well, they drop coins when you defeat them. There are also pirates that exist on the map that you can defeat that drop coins as well. They don't push a lane. You simply defeat them, and they give you coins.
Yep.
And you use those coins to turn in for his favor, and he will bombard the enemy team.
Yep, and those shots are very powerful. One set of shots can just about take out one of the fort tower areas, so it's going to be a highly contested objective on this map. It is a point that is in the middle of the map, so you see teams fighting over this spot very frequently. That said, because you can take to the strategy of just collecting camps, grabbing coins, and then finding a situation where the enemy team isn't anywhere near Blackheart, and then you just turn in coins, you can almost get away with winning the game without actually taking a fight. And perhaps maybe that's why we're seeing Abathur in this situation. He has a lot of mobility. I don't know. It's going to be a learning experience for us because we don't get to see too many competitive games on this map. And every time I've seen a game, every time I've casted a game on this map, it's always been a different strategy from the teams. Sometimes they strategize when they put those turn-ins in just to keep that level advantage because the further level advantage you try to get, the harder it is, the more experience you have to get that level advantage.
And another thing to really consider is we haven't seen this map in personally between oh my goodness, the hook on Kenma is there. We haven't seen it too much since the patch where making sure that you soak the lanes is a crucial thing. And immediately we see that SMG is not going to be soaking bottom lane right away. The creeps are spawning here, and Dunk Train is here to soak, but SMG is not.
So yeah, it's usually a big point of contention here is this first area of vision.
Smiley face on the mini-map.
The smiley face, as some people have so eloquently dubbed it. We can actually talk about some talents really quick. We're seeing extra health on the Locust for Abathur, but the big one is, once again, we're seeing the extra HP on Devour from Stitches. Decided not to go with Block. No Regen Master, no extra slam damage. We see a really, really nice hook onto King Caffeine.
With a flying kick and just a big combo on him, but Soldier is quite low. He's going to have to brew on up a little bit here and back up the tap as well. Ooh, the Flare actually knocks him out of his mount at the last possible second. In SMG, you can already see the level difference here. I mean, it might not look like a lot, but that little bit makes a difference because they were able to soak that lane 1 or 2 waves, and Dunk Train has 5 coins that he got for free as well. So they didn't really get anything done in that top lane. They didn't manage to get a kill, and in the meantime, Dunk Train just got 5 coins, which he's going to go turn in right away.
Yep, so here you can see the Black Heart is taking those coins, and once he gets 10, you can see the little counter down in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, guys. Once you get up to that acquired amount, which raises every time you turn in this case, since it's the first turn in for both teams, it is 10. So once, for example, C9 Maelstrom collects 5 more current coins to turn in, we'll see those cannons getting fired off, and it'll do a significant amount of damage to the first mid-fort area.
Yeah, and then it costs 12, and then 14, and then 16.
Goes up by 2 every time.
So Matt Timmy actually going to lose his life there. A nice Howling Blast out of King Caffeine, and not really what SMG wants to see. They're down in levels by not a lot, but, you know, every little bit counts. And again, they're not soaking bottom. They're they're getting coins, which is great, but that soak is going to add up in this map.
All right, Jake. SMG, they were the ones who picked this map, so they have a strategy in mind. We're hoping that's the that's the case, because we want to see some sick strategies. We want to see some cool and creative stuff. And you got any idea as to what their game plan is here?
Their composition is very standard. There's nothing standing out about it. We're seeing them prioritize coins over soaking again and again. So they're really just going to try to out-team fight and just out-turn in. They're going to try to never actually have to push, because on this map, if you just turn in, you never actually have to attack limits. So it looks like they're going for that kind of style. I mean, they're interested in the coins constantly. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting. You don't want to be down in levels. They're close. They're very close in levels right now. But Blackheart's Bay is such a
it's a weird map. It doesn't necessarily fit into the standard meta that we're used to seeing in Heroes of the Storm, which is why it's not really a preferable map for a lot of pro teams to even pick or practice on. Just because so many strategies get thrown out the window that are normally workable or usable on other maps. So it's a treat, if you want to call it that.
Honestly, if FSMG was bringing them to Blackheart's Bay, I'm actually kind of surprised Zagara wasn't picked. And as weird as it is, Zagara's just like, if you throw Zagara in the bottom lane and you just leave her down there and just let her do her thing, she's kind of scary on this map. We see the bribe going down on these giants, so that's a nice little thing from Falstad. And with the coins being up, now 6 coins have been turned in from SMG and 5 coins turned in from Cloud9. SMG wants to try to collect these, and but Dread is got to back up here as the Abathur is on the hat of King Caffeine. Howling Blast going to lock him down here, and many minions is going to have to eat some health, but he's going to lose his life here and that 1 point.
Yep, really, really nice grenade there, and we see SMG is following up to try and save Dread up. They are a bit late. They're going to try to get a pick off on King Caffeine. Soldier moving in. Is it enough?
The Howling Blast and then the Flying Kick goes in, but is it going to be enough to get the kill? It doesn't look like it. And Biceps boldly just walking out by himself. 6 coins sitting on Soldier right now, but the first turn in is actually just bombarding Symbiote's base right now from Cloud9.
Abathur hat doing work. He's always there. Whoever's getting focused on, he's got the Abathur hat on, that extra shielding.
Zuna's Abathur is not a joke, and he's soaking this top lane. He's omnipresent. He's getting the experience here in the top lane. And again, I mean, that's going to be a big story in this map. Look at the levels now. Over a level ahead. Level 10 is going to be achieved so much quicker for Cloud9 because of how much better they're soaking on this map.
Wow, okay, so we see an aggressive rotation up for KO here. I think he's just really trying to get that soak. Wants to try to even out the level advantage that Cloud9 Maelstrom is having. Of course, they were able to get a turn in, which is nice, but it isn't quite going to kill the keep unless they were able to secure a bit of damage onto that mid wall. I don't recall them doing that, so they're either going to have to make a push in for this this fort if they want to try to get the experience out of it. But
it'll do damage, but the other thing about Avatar is I think we're going to see Mule in this
we
game.
actually have double Mule. That's actually a really, really nice point. Like to bring that up. We don't see Enduring Regrowth out of Malfurion. Has opted to go Mule. It's pretty standard to see Mule on Avatar as well. But the way it works is if you have a fort in a situation like this one here, if you want to pan over to the fort here, you can see that its health is, it's about half. You're going to get a ton of value out of that Mule there. So they can throw that Mule down as soon as it's off cooldown, and they're going to be able to heal it back up as long as they defend it. That's burning cannon shots. And of course, like I was mentioning before, you keep turning in, It costs more and more and more each time. So, you want those early cannon shots to be as effective as possible. But when you get, the Mule healing up the structures, it takes away that effectiveness.
Yeah, well, both teams are level 10, actually level 11 here for Cloud9, getting the Putrid Vial going down from Dreadnought almost immediately with the Strafe, and Shocknaw doing a lot of damage. King Caffeine actually dodging the Shocknaw at the last second. A nice juke there by Fallside. Arthlon is kind of secluded here, but he's able to vault on out of there, and we see the damage going down. Now, Panda Pal should still be available here for Soldier. 6 coins sitting on him, so he wants to make sure he does not lose those. The same thing goes for the 4 coins of Arthlon. Zuna looking for that kill. That is the clone, and Panda Pals is used. Oh my goodness, a big hook goes down. Panda Pals are going to use the body block the best of their ability, but the Emerald wouldn't be enough to get the escape.
So much happened, but nothing happened.
Yeah,
it was just everybody feels so tanky in that fight. Like there's just so much extra health bars. And
the Avatar clone died.
Yeah, the Avatar clone did die. That was the clone Arthas. So 1 half death, of course, for these guys who don't know. When the Avatar clone does die, no experience is granted. It just goes back to Avatar sitting in top lane there. The cooldown is longer in this last patch. The cooldown doesn't actually start triggering until after the clone dies. It's a sizable nerf, which is why we don't see Avatar picked as often in the current meta.
It's very true, and we're just seeing the bottom lanes being taken in a huge push going down to the bottom lane. They're gonna get this fort easily, but Symbiote is opting to take the Golem in exchange. Now with this Golem, they have a few options. They can push with it, or they can rotate down to the middle lane and try to push down that tower. Now with the Mules, this thing is already healed up the full.
Yep,
and you actually saw an idle Mule hanging out on the side. So honestly, this is good, but SMG is Cloud9 is already on their doorstep here.
They didn't kill it fast enough.
And they're just too slow. The
confidence.
The Mule to scout more than anything. That's not a BM Mule. That's used for scouting. Mad Timmy is going to get just kind of stuck in the back line. He gets blown up. King Caffeine is going to be just fine. Staying in the back. The hook goes down a Dunk Train, but Dunk Train
that's exactly where it wants to be.
Out the damage. And we do have a Mule on the side of SMG as well. So that's actually interesting to point out.
Yeah. Okay, so I thought that was actually really confident from King Caffeine. It's just like, I'm just gonna walk in over this. I have no vision of the area, but just walked in. They have the level lead. They do have the talent advantage going into that, so it worked out for them.
Yeah, we can look at the coin count here. It's actually 11 here for the side of Cloud9 and 12 on the side of SMG. Of course, coins can be turned in, and chests are presently available, so there's a lot more coins being picked up. A Soldier taking so much damage right now. Does he have Panda Pals? He does, and he's going to have to pop it.
Yeah, it's no surprise to see giant contest going down here over this Blackheart, considering that both teams have enough coins to turn in. Whoever takes this team fight will get a free turn in.
Well, we hear Putrid Vial going down as Dreadnought is going to leave his filth all over the ground. King Caffeine and Zuna, the double Arthas is so strong. The Strafe is just tearing people apart. But Dreadnought getting killed up pretty quickly, and look at this. They can just turn around. Now they're using this one Emerald Wind to try to disengage, but Kenma is going to die here. The hook is going to be there.
Wow, the shields are there. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, Dreadnought so very low. They're looking for the kill. That's the Avatar clone in the front line. It's so back and forth, like you said, the last team fight. So much, but nothing actually happening.
Once again, no one dies. Everyone gets super low. But positional advantage goes to C9. They should be able to turn in and throw another wave of bombardments onto their forts and keeps.
They need those 2 coins. They get turned in, and that's going to be
not enough.
Not enough. And Symbiote
we got tricked. They did have enough coins.
Never
so
do math on stream. We learned this.
We
learned this the hard way every single time. And now this is going to be, in fact, a bombardment on the middle lane. But we already talked about this. The Mule healed this to full. So it's going to use a good chunk of the cannons just to destroy that middle
At least 3 or 4 are going to have to go, maybe even more than that. Yeah, just to take out that middle keep, or fort, sorry. Whereas it should have been just a couple. That Mule healed it up, so they have to spend way more.
5? Is it 5? Let's find out.
I think it is
Let's find out live. 1, 2. Yeah, 5 shots.
Okay. So we see SMG, they're backing up, they're just taking the coins on their side of the map.
And, you know, Dunk Train just rotating down here, riding his Nexus Charger. Going to grab these Giants here, collect those coins. The coin count continuing to rise for Cloud9. Of course, the 12 coins being turned in for Symbiote will make sure that they have less, but they still have 9 coins on their side.
So, like we were mentioning, there has only 3 kills been so far in 10 minutes into the game. Not surprising considering it is Blackheart's Bay. We talked about sort of like how this map is almost like a PvE aspect to it. Like
you play it on ladder and it's the complete opposite. It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth in most ladder games. But you play it in a ranked match, competitive match, it's very passive like this. Oh my goodness, King Caffeine taking so much damage from the strafe. The Army of the Dead trying to keep them alive. Emerald Wind is used perfectly to zone them out and dish out a good chunk of damage. And at this point, King Caffeine is, you know, perfectly healed up.
Oh yeah, he's back to full of those. He can eat the ghouls that he summons through Army of the Dead, and they give him a good chunk of HP back. That's
Lots
why
of
we see.
in ghouls.
That's right, of course. Lots of protein.
I guess when he works out.
Okay, so we do see that Cloud9 was able to finish off that turn-in. They finished throwing those 2 coins in. Mule is going to get obliterated here with those cannon shots. And I would say that we see Cloud9 in a considerable advantage here. They do have 2 turn-ins to 1, and they are posturing to take the golem at the very top of the map.
Yep, forts 3 down for Cloud9. Only 1 has been destroyed by Symbiote at this point in the game. They have the level advantage. They have the level 16 talent advantage. Kobe, what do they pick for their talents here?
Okay, so for Dunk Train on Tassadar, we see this is becoming more common than not. Instead of taking Double Size Storm, we see them at level 13 and 16, they're talenting into Dimensional Shift. That gives healing, and when you hit level below 15% of your HP, it will automatically trigger Dimensional Shift. So it becomes super difficult to kill Tassadar. Other than that, we have Vile Nest coming out of Abathur that just increases his push ability to deal damage to structures. We have Stone Skin on Arthas and Tychus. Those are very common picks just to make sure to increase the survivability of those heroes. And on Kemva's Brightwing, we have the polymorph. Any polymorph targets take 25% more damage.
Well, Symbiote wants hit 16 before they engage. They know they're getting a turn-in for free here, but there's nothing they can do about it because being down that talent advantage is no bueno, no good indeed. And, you know, this is going to allow them to just not only turn in, but collect as many coins as they can on the map. Look at that shark.
This map has been called Snowball-y. And I don't throw that term around too often, but we see that the team that gets an advantage early, it's easy to hold that map control, to keep collecting the coins, to keep turning in. It starts to push your structures back. The territory that you have control over as the losing team, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Right. It's very difficult to take map control back on this map.
Yeah, you compare it to Dragon Shire, and you just have to protect 1 shrine. And oh no, the shark has been released. The shark has been released. Oh! And then he goes
Party
into
Bush.
the water. But the Party Bush indeed is here. King Caffeine doing a lot of damage. The Shotgunhawk getting a good amount of value, but everything is being used. Strafe, Tranquility, Gorge, everything they have in their pocket, and I don't know if that's going to be the right target. I mean, Bicep is falling pretty quickly, but he's also dishing out a lot of damage. They're going to get the kill, but at the same time, they trade out one of their members as well. Chen Stormset has fallen. KO barely getting out of range.
Zuna, nice job with that. Throwing out that long range.
That kill. Now the Root is going to try to settle him out, but his missile.
Does he have a Howling Blast on? Does he have it? Oh, wow, just barely clips him. Brightwing is void shifting onto him. He's going to be able to get Malfurion in this situation, and that takes a 3-for-1 fight. Yes, for Cloud9.
And Zuna just rotating around. He loses his clone. He immediately goes to the top lane, drops a mule, and he's going to soak up this whole creep wave so quick to just move around the map, continue to soak. That's a big part of the story here on Blackhearts. They had the additional soaking in the early game. Yeah. They got higher in levels, and they just kept their advantage.
And they still have map control, so you see that the chests have spawned here, and I'm surprised that they didn't put more effort into keeping control of this. We see King Caffeine rotating forward with the Abathur hat and Brightwing rotating on. He's going to be able to cap 3 of those coins, and of course they have full control of the top chest. So that's an 8 coin advantage going just because they had map control at that particular time. Is that enough to turn in? That's 12, 15 coins that I can see at the very least. Tychus just picked up another 2, so if they all turn in right now, they have enough to turn in for another one. It looks as though SMG is well aware of this fact. They would like to turn in the coins they have, and we're going to see a bit of a team fight.
Now getting the root and the flying kick there, King Caffeine is going to do a lot of damage, but will it matter with Army of the Dead? He's going to heal up so very quickly. A lot of damage coming out of Biceps right now. Caffeine might not be the priority target that they're looking for. Everyone's being healed up. Panda Pals goes down. Caffeine still very low. The hook not hitting anything. Another Shark has been unleashed with the Emerald Wind, splitting everything up, doing so much damage as well. And Kenma, they're all getting out. It's going to be another one of those
getting out of there.
No deaths.
No deaths, but Caffeine was just a giant damage soak that time. SMG was trying so hard to kill King Caffeine. He has Stone Skin. He can heal himself with the Death Coil. He has Army of the Dead. He can eat the ghouls to survive. And of course, he's got the shielding from Tassadar. He's got Brightwing healing. So it's like, how do you actually kill this guy? Meanwhile, top lane,
Zuna is just wrecking. Zuna is just having a field day. He's like saying, all right, this is great. I love this game. He's doing what Abathur does best, and he's just putting the pressure on wherever they're not. Now, we see the fly up, but he's going to be nowhere near where the Abathur actually is. He's just going to be able to clear up the lane and not going to be able to get a gank. And Zuna, doesn't care. He's actually just going to say, until you actually push forward, I'm not really going to worry about you too much. Oh, now he's gone.
Okay, so we see another turn-in. That is for Cloud9. Yep.
Oh, no, it's
that's right. Yeah, I'm looking at the cannonball color.
Yeah, I looked at it as well. So that is an SMG turn.
Yeah.
We missed it happening. We were too excited about it.
Yeah, they only needed 2 coins to turn, so that was just going to be one person. That said, Cloud9 does still have a large amount of map control. Hopefully Abathur isn't sitting too close up there to get shot by those cannonballs. No, it doesn't appear to be the case.
I would trust Zuna to
probably not, yeah.
know his positioning with Abathur as good as anyone. Now, cannonballs have finished here, and that means the turn will be available soon. Symbiote is preparing for them to attempt to try to turn it. Now, Army of the Dead probably isn't up, but
wow,
he
nice dodge.
Yeah.
Really, really nice dodge there. And of course, he has the Abathur hat on too, so it's kind of like 1.5 heroes that you're looking at with the hat on.
They're going.
And SMGs, they're poking forward. They realize that they're probably taking these knights, and they're going to steal them. Yeah. Cloud9 says this is not favorable enough for us. We have 2 heroes, at least, that are out of position. We'll just give this one to you guys. You can have the coins.
Cloud9 is 20 right now. They hit it right at that moment. And let's take a look at their talents. Hopefully, we don't have a crash on our program here. And
yeah, no crash.
No
okay,
crash,
so
no
we have a blink on Tychus. That's fine. I can understand that. That just gives him a little bit of extra mobility. The damage increase that you get on the big red button for Odin isn't super impactful, so it's sort of a point of contention. Level 20 for Tychus, but we see Storm Shield on Brightwing. That's Kenma playing Brightwing there. Resurgence of the Storm on Arthas. We do seem to have a little bit of a fight.
Yeah, well, the Shotgun is going down, doing a lot of damage. The Odin has already fallen here for the Abathur clone, if I'm not mistaken, and Biceps has his Odin available as well. KO and Arthwan both taking so much damage from all this AoE damage. Soldier popping Panda Palace is going to try to zone them out. Dunk Train is going to be relatively low, but it's still Tassadar. Tassadar is always going to be a slippery hero. Knight still pushing in the bottom lane for Cloud9, and the Golem is now going to go to Cloud9 instead of
Sure. I actually like that in the fight. Dunk Train, who's on Tassadar, he talented level 16 to the dimensional shift that heals. It also increases your speed, so he used it to chase.
We've seen that all day.
It's really, really nice. Like, I mean, it's typically something you see used on the defense, but sometimes it's the right call to make to use it to get that speed burst forward, especially while you're in Archon. Like, that's you get the extra range out of that. You have a huge amount of DPS available to you on your autos. Nice call there.
Well, KO used his bribe stacks. Arthwan, about half health. He's just going to clear up this wave, and he'll probably... Yeah, he's not going to go Abathur hunting. Even though he sees the Locust here, he knows Abathur can just shift from lane to lane to lane. Chests have spawned here, and both teams going to be looking for the chests.
Yeah, it looks like SMG has enough control over this bottom portion of the map. They should be able to get these 5 coins coming out of this bottom chest. No problem. Dunk Train is popping Oracle. He's well aware of what's happening, zoning out them from turning in, and we see the rest of C9 has rotated down. Problem is, there's a giant golem pushing down top lane. This should give them control of Blackheart, and they should be able to get another turn in.
Look at 17
coins.
Look at these coins.
17 coins on King Caffeine, who has just not died. You just can't kill him. And that's almost... Is that enough for... How many more coins do they have left?
A lot.
A lot.
I'm not going to try to do math. I've learned this the hard way. And, oh, not quite going to get it, but you know what? Zuna's not going to give up. He's not going to lose hope. They do have a mule ready. I believe they have a mule at least.
There comes
there it is. So they're going to try to sustain through this. Now, actually, it's not going to matter as the cannonballs are going to destroy this keep and this keep. And that's going to be 2 keep advantage, putting a huge swing in this battle. 20 almost achieved here for Symbiote, and they desperately need it.
Yeah, they've been playing rather passively, just trying to get to that level 20 because they will have double Resurgence of the Storm available to them. But at this point, we're going to see Zuna is going to start shifting his focus towards that bottom lane. I imagine we'll see him rotate down there, pop those, and if they get that final keep, it's almost down to one turn in to kill the keep, and you can kill the core with turn-ins.
Well, we see Dread going in with the Future Bile doing a lot of damage, but he gets burned down so very quickly. He does have Resurgence because it did hit 20, but he's going to be out of this fight. Soldier in the front lines as well. He's going to have to pop Panda Palace here if he wants to live, and there he doesn't. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. I was a little bit concerned for his well-being there. King Caffeine just tanking so much damage. Panda Pals are more like Panda Squish. And you know what? It's going to be a 2-kill advantage. Both players that have died do have Resurgence, but KO does not.
Oh, Mad Timmy.
Coins everywhere. Mad Timmy, more coins. The richness. Dreadnought trying to get away with one, but I don't think it's going to happen here. Frozen Tempest.
Yeah, that's 31 coins that I can see at the very least. They might have more. And it's just, look at them dancing around. They know they've got this game won. It's the comebacks are possible on a lot of other maps. This case, it's 99% chance that C9 is going to win this game. They need another 2 turn-ins. They have more than enough to get this turn-in and are well on the way to taking the next one. They have 18 coins for the next. So they need just to grab 2 more coins in the map. They can just go up.
Just that right now. Yeah. They're grabbing these knights. They got the turn-in here, which will obliterate this in quick fashion, and one more turn-in will infect.
And this is going to do a fair chunk of damage to the core. There's still another, like 15 seconds before anyone on SMG that had died in that last fight respawns. So they only need to do about 20% damage with this turn-in to the core health, and they have enough to turn in again. It's all but curtains here for SMG.
Yeah, this is going to put the advantage 3-0 as Cloud9 did in fact win the winner's bracket. The game is just about over here. They're going to get their turn in on. Again, Dreadnought's still down for another 5 seconds. They're not even making the attempt to defend this turn in here. And Cloud9 knows, hey, let's soak the experience.
The problem is they can go. They know they need to go to the turn in to stop this, but you can't do that for the entire rest of the game. Like you just have to basically sit on the turn in spot. You more or less have to take an ace and then rush the core. That's the only way you're going to win. So we see, both teams. I mean, there's a fight happening. This is absolutely inconsequential to what's happening to the rest of the team. You can see that the cannonballs are firing down. I don't think they even need to go in.
They got Abathur.
They do have
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. Abathur probably BM'd and went in because he knows the game is over. Just Zuna things, and that's going to be... Game, I guess, number 1 in our grand finals, but it puts Cloud9 up 3-0.
To a 3-0 advantage. And, that was SMG's pick to go to Blackheart's Bay. The only thing I can think of is that they were hoping Cloud9 has never played on this map or practiced on it. And
I'm with you.
They didn't seem to have any particular strategy up their sleeve to take that game.
They've been struggling against Maelstrom. And like you said, it seemed like, well, maybe they don't know how to play at Blackhearts. I mean, we tried this new thing, but... honestly, Abathur is so huge on that map.
Yeah, it was the right call to pick up Abathur there.
And Zuna's Abathur is terrifying. So it was a pretty dominant game. I mean, even from the start, the decision to not soak the bottom lane after the change where minions are worth more, they were immediately behind like a level before like the 5-minute mark. Yeah, even
going into level 7, which is it's pretty rare to see someone like over a level behind going up to level 7. So.
And like opting to have Stitches run around and collect coins, like he can tank them pretty well, but he's not necessarily the quickest guy to run around and clear up those camps. So like
some of the build choices were a little weird too. Like we saw him take the Devour at level 1, the extra HP, but then didn't go amplified healing. I thought maybe it was just going to be like a tank, and you have Malfurion too, who can he's got the extra heal with Tranquility, Ice Block. I thought maybe that was the strategy, but then he just sort of shifted into a slam build. So. I'm not really sure what the game plan was out of SMG. Like I said, the only thing I can think of is that they were just hoping to catch C9 off guard, and they were ready. They had Abathur. They were ready.
They were ready indeed. Guys, we're going to get ready for the next game. We're going to do a quick commercial, so stay with us. We'll be back in just a minute for Game 2 of the Grand Finals here.